It's Mail Call Thursday.
You ready to start singing it, brother?
You haven't earned the right to hear me sing yet.
One day.
I'm just playing. You haven't done anything bad enough for me to punish you with my singing. Let's put it that way.
In that case, I thank you.
But it's time to answer your questions. Odds are, I don't really feel like introductions are really needed, but I would hate not to do them. But I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead. I feel like anybody listening to this is basically already a subscriber. I don't really know that anybody would just find this floating on the internet. But if you did, this is the point of the week where we answer questions. And JP's, what are you doing over there, bud?
What?
It just sounded, I don't know, that was a weird little maniacal laugh.
You didn't like it?
I loved it, but I'm just wondering.
You wanted me to express more emotion, so that's what I'm trying to do.
I never told you to express more emotion. If I die before the end of this podcast, you know who did it. But so this is the point where we just answer your questions. If you want to leave a question, make sure you leave it in the bottom in the comments section under this video, and we'll get to it on next week's podcast. But JP is reading the questions. Let's get them going. Don't forget to do, what do we say? We do most recent and go to the bottom, because sometimes people will post follow-ups to what they've posted, and they get all out of order. So do the most recent and start at the bottom. Yeah,
that's what I did. And we got a couple comments first off. No questions, but some nice comments. David Ortiz says, "What's up, guys?" So I guess that is kind of a question.
What's up?
So early, but so awesome to start the day.
Well, we're glad we could help your day, buddy.
And then Heidi...
Heidi Klum?
I'm guessing it's a name with accents above some letters. I don't know. Lipinella. Heidi says 5 days ago, "Oh yes, the taco universe, and maybe some ice cream mountains. My reincarnation animal would be a polar bear, only because I can't handle warm weather at all." Well, I feel you there. I'm a hairy fella, so warm weather is not my forte either. But I'm
a summer guy, man.
Right.
If I'm wearing shorts and a tank top and I'm on a beach or on a lake or kayaking or something outside, I am happy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been enjoying wearing flip flops. So.
See, and I went through a phase where I wore flip flops, and now I don't unless I'm at the beach or the lake. I have to have shoes now.
Oh, no, I'll be wearing my flip-flops.
I know you do. You'd be rocking those flip-flops.
Yeah, I don't have the prettiest toes, but, I ain't worried about what nobody thinks about my toes anyway. So, anyway.
You are.
5 days ago, Jeep says, "My car was a 79 Ford Pinto baby poop green with no heat or AC or power
color.
Steering and a bad muffler. I used to get off work at 10 at night then. The neighbors used to be able to set their clocks to me coming home at night because they could hear my car several blocks away. LOL. I oddly wish I still had that car. Mail call. Have you ever had anything that others may have found to be a piece of junk, but you really liked it?" My house, a lot of people seem to think that's
Did she say car or just something?
It just says, "Have you ever had anything like that?" Well, like that, so I guess maybe it's considered a vehicle. I mean, my Daewoo, a lot of people hate on my Daewoo. I got an 02 Daewoo, Laganza. I love it, but, people always give me grief about that. So.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure I have. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Vehicle-wise, no, because I had a 91 Ford Escort was my first vehicle, and I hated it just as much as anyone else could have hated it. Then I got an 89 S10, and I loved it, but I didn't know much about vehicles, and it messed up. And then I went out and bought a 96 or a 98 Honda Civic back when Fast and Furious was big, and tricked it out and all of that. And then I bought another Honda Civic. That thing was a piece of, but I hated it equally as much as anyone else could have hated it. Fast as hell, but it was a piece of... That's when I learned, anyways. I'm trying to think. It wasn't any vehicles. What have I had that was a piece of crap that I loved, but people hated? I'll have to get back to you on that, because I really don't know of anything.
But your Escort, you didn't like that, but everybody else hated it, and you hated it.
We all hated it together. People were like, "That car's ugly as hell." I know, right?
Yeah, my cousin David, much like yourself, he had a real souped up Civic that he put the body kit and the whole thing on. Eventually flipped it.
No, I didn't do all that.
So that was no good, man. It's amazing. He walked away from it. Actually, a buddy of his ended up he didn't pull him out, but he was there to help him, and now he's a purported baby killer. Anyway, Brian Akeem says 5 days ago, mail call. Have you guys ever seen the 90s cartoon, The SWAT Cats? Really awesome. I highly recommend it. That's one 90s cartoon.
Loved SWAT Cats.
Was that
this podcast? It was somewhere. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they were describing the SWAT Cats, and I kept saying SWAT Cats. And they're like, no, that's not it. They would get in like this jet, and then they had things that dropped out. I'm like, SWAT Cats, because you had the skinny one and the kind of muscular one, the thicker guy. I
never saw it, man.
Yes, my friend. I loved SWAT Cats. Badass cartoon. One of the only times I've thought cats were awesome.
I love cats, but I've never seen that show, so I'll have to check it out.
SWAT Cats was the shiznit.
All right, Brian Hakeem. Well, thank you for the recommendation. We got one.
You'll love it, JP. Well, I promise you.
I love 90s cartoons.
I know
man.
You'll love it, and it is 90s cartoons at their best.
Yeah, man. Well, I have to check it out. Brianne McCann 5 days ago says, "Congratulations to the new daddy." Well, thank you, Brianne. You know, it's she's probably talking about you, Justin. So
thank you, Brianne.
It's been nearly a week since she got here. By the time you read this mail, oh man,
a week today.
So my question for you is, how has it been being a dad and seeing this little girl wrap herself around your finger?
It has been awful.
She's not that small. Like
I'm just playing. No, she is very tiny. She was only 5 pounds and 5 pounds 10 ounces when she was born, and she's down to 4 pounds 15 ounces. Yeah, she was born a month early.
Right. When she says wrap around your finger, I think of like a caterpillar, like literally. Yeah.
No, Brian, I'm just kidding. It's been freaking fantastic. It's really like I told JP. It's like I never want to be a preachy dad, but it is one of those feelings you just cannot describe until you experience it. You know, it's a great feeling. She's like, other people's kids annoy me when they cry, like bad. Like I hate kid cries, and I was like, that's gonna be the worst part about having a kid, when they scream and cry. And I'm sure it'll get aggravating at some point, but her cry is just so cute and innocent that like it just makes me like, you know what I mean? Whereas normally I'd be like, oh my God, shut that kid up, or I'm gonna, I need earplugs. Now I'm like, oh, what's wrong, baby? And it's really great. Thank you for asking. I very much enjoy it. And like I said, she was born a month early, so she sleeps a lot, but she's awesome.
Brianne, I'm sure you've probably listened to our Wednesday podcast. We really expound on the baby stuff and, where your head's at with all that stuff. It was a good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brianne McCann goes on to say in another comment, JP, of course I can't leave you out of the mail call. So
sure you can. Yeah, you just give it a try.
So here's your mail call from me. DC or Marvel, and why? Justin, you can add your 2 cents too. So for me, I'm a Marvel guy, and I think a lot of it just the cartoons I grew up watching, which I did grow up with Batman, the animated series. I'm a big Batman fan, but I don't know if it's because Marvel, like when you read the comics, the universe seems a little bit more interconnected. I think the villains are a lot better too, and maybe it just boils down to familiarity. I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm more familiar with Marvel, so it's closer to my heart. I don't know, but yeah, I'm definitely a Marvel guy. Grew up watching like X-Men, the 90s X-Men cartoon, 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So yeah, make mine Marvel, and that's it. That being said, not always a fan, especially since Disney bought them out, of sort of the political like innuendo, and we've talked about that before on other podcasts. So, but yeah, there you go. What about you?
Same. Between the two, I would probably pick Marvel. Those certain like Tom King writing on Batman's been, majority of it's been awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Like that's probably been one of my favorite things I read, even though I am quite a bit behind on it. But it's just, but I like Marvel better, but there are some aspects of DC that I like better. I think sometimes DC's writing is better. DC seems to be a bit darker.
It can be
more common than, but honestly, between the two, I think you could back this up. I think it's safe to say, from looking at my pull list, I'm more of an Image fan than I am DC or Marvel. I get way more Image, and I get a few Dark Horse, but like Image is probably what I get the most of. I like The Warning I'm reading right now is pretty good. Freeze,
Gideon Falls,
The
Walking Dead, of course,
The Walking Dead, Redlands. Moonshine, which Moonshine is on a hiatus, I think, right now. Black Monday Murders. Just some of my favorite titles come from Image.
Yeah, some of my favorite Image stuff is finally getting ready to wrap up, like Paper Girls. That's
wrapping up?
Yeah, that's
good.
Wrapping
I can
up
get the whole
30.
collection on trade paperback.
What else? Black Science. That's getting ready to wrap up finally. So I'll be a couple issues or a couple series later. Here
Paper Girls. Now that that's wrapping up, would you say it's been good the whole way through?
Yeah, man. It's a really twisty turny. It can be a little. Sometimes you pick up an issue a month later and you're like, whoa, what's happening? So I think it's definitely better to read like trade paperback form.
Right.
I feel that way about a lot of Image stuff. Just the stories can be so complex. Sometimes it's better to be able to just read it. All the way through.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Just binge it.
No doubt.
All right, well, Phyllis 9654 mail call. What is the name of the song that is played at the end of this video? It's really nice, and I would love to hear it in its entirety. Thank you.
Oh boy, let me pull that up.
Is it another one of those stepdad songs?
I think it's "Are You Bored Yet?"
Are You
But
Bored?
hold on, let me double check. By the Wallows is the name of the band. If that's it, and if it's not, you should still look up that song because "Are You Bored Yet?" is an awesome song. But let me see. I think that's it. Let me see. Let me find that video. Are you bored yet? I need some hold on. While I look for that, let me throw this on. Hold on. This is perfect. Let's just throw that on. We'll return after this. Because my phone sucks.
No, I hate hearing that.
Never will I buy anything other than iPhone again.
As realistic as I guess this question can be.
All right, skip forward.
Whatever you want.
Skip forward.
And this cast we do, we love them. And we'll continue to do it fine, just all over. Oh, and I think that Brett will contact us and ask those Dead Comics. We'll see you here in just a few minutes as we review issue.
That's the Wallows. Are You Bored Yet?
Nope.
Great song. Highly recommend
There you go.
downloading it.
All right, the next one is from Sylvia Westdigic, I think. You're better with the names than I am. But Sylvia says, "Hey guys, Rain DeVos introduced me to your podcast. Really like it." And thanks, Rain. We appreciate you bringing people into the fold.
Absolutely.
She goes on to say, "Hope you both can answer this one. Mail call. What's the most weirdest dream you've ever had?" Mine, I think, ruling out any weird sexual dreams, probably the leprechaun chasing me on top of a train. That one has really stuck with me over the years. I was a kid. I'm sure I've had weirder ones than that have just slipped out of my mind. Well, I did have a really weird one just a couple weeks ago. I think Chandler Riggs and Mel Gibson were involved.
It's always weird when a celebrity's involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Sometimes I've watched episodes of TV shows I really like play out in my head. So I don't know, but yeah, I'll go with the leprechaun. I'm talking about the horror movie Leprechaun,
right?
Chasing me across
That's my girlfriend's favorite horror movie. Basically, it's the only one she can watch.
I like the one where he goes to Las Vegas.
There's one where he goes to the hood, right?
He goes to the hood. He goes to outer space.
Oh wow,
he's a really well-traveled
Bastard
leprechaun.
Is everywhere.
Yeah, and they just did a revamp. I think it's a different person playing the leprechaun. I think that guy's dead, but yeah, they go back and revisit.
Very interesting.
What about what dark dreams plague your mind?
I've had a lot of dark dreams, man.
I guess it doesn't have to be dark. She just said weirdest dream.
I had one dream that inspired me to write a book that no one will ever read.
You never know.
No, I highly doubt I would ever even get it published. It's probably not that good. But I had this weird dream where an ex-girlfriend and I were in this place. I mean, I got a lot of them. This is just one of the weird ones. Most of them they fade away over time. You forget little details, but this one I remember almost everything. I really experienced it or something. But an ex-girlfriend and I were chilling at this area that a lot of people hung out at. It's kind of like a lake mixed with a lagoon and a swamp. It was really weird. And there was this, those things on Saving Private Ryan that the back dropped out and the soldiers came out of. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was one of those, but it had a Russian red star on it. But it was just there. And we all hung out on it or whatever. And I remember she jumped in and went under and didn't come back up. And I remember sitting there in the dream. For some reason, I knew what was happening, and I just would not jump in and save her.
Oh,
man. I was watching it, and I just would not. It wasn't a fearful thing. In this dream, for some reason, and that don't fit my MO, I usually wouldn't hesitate to jump in for something like that. But this one time, I just was watching, so it inspired this whole book that I wrote and then ended up scrapping because I found out that it ended up basically being the exact same thing as Marvel's Secret War. Secret Wars, because basically I wrote a book about parallel universes and collapsing in on themselves, and basically this guy and this girl had gotten together, and more or less basically he was in the reality where they were supposed to be away, weren't supposed to be together, and something happened, and the reality started colliding, and basically, like, because in the dream the sky was this weird purple hue, and then basically in the book I wrote it to where, like, he knew that he had to basically let her drown, or else everything would have destroyed itself. And it was really weird and stupid. But, yeah, that was a weird dream. And then one more, because this one's much shorter, but it just sticks with me. My buddy Brad and I were exploring, like, this abandoned, like, facility. I don't know what it would have been, maybe a nursing home or something. But we were exploring that, and it was all abandoned, and we were checking. And then we found this door that was in, like, perfect shape. And we opened it, and we started going down, and we found, like, candles lit. And then we realized, holy crap, there was, like, probably 100 people sleeping in rooms going down this area. And I remember they all started waking up, and for some reason they were like monster zombies, and they were chasing us, and we ran out. It was pretty terrifying.
Yeah, man. And getting back to your story you wrote, even if it is a lot like Secret Wars or whatever, so many great pieces of literature are derivative. That's no reason not to put it out. Like, I mean, shoot, Romeo and Juliet is basically the same plot as, like Antigone, some ancient Greek tragedy or something. So
yeah.
Don't let it stop you. Everything's derived from something. I mean,
Well, I combined that too with a book, because remember I told you that I wrote a book. These were two separate books, and I was like, I'm going to combine them basically. But I told you I wrote this book where this guy more or less was going to work every day, and it was the same old, but he started noticing things were different every day. Like there was a Starbucks here, and he's like, I don't remember them even. How have I not noticed them even building that? And then, like, every day it starts being more and more drastic changes. And basically the twist is that, these people are manipulating time, and most human brains, our brains readjust when time's been altered. So, like, George Washington may not have always been president. He might have just been made president by changing the past 5 minutes ago, but our brains have reprogrammed to the reality we live in. Well, something in his brain wasn't resetting. So he was the only person who could see these changes happening. And then I was like, because that was the roughest part of the other book, was I was like, how do I get it? What do I make happen so that the timelines got mixed up? You know what I mean? Like, naturally it would just play out the way it's supposed to, but something has to happen to make him and her actually get together in order for these realities to start colliding into one and basically collapsing in on themselves. And so I was like, I could combine those two books. But
yeah, man, I'm telling you, I'm just, all my creative friends, I'm just like, whatever you've got, whether it's a song, a story, a painting, man, just get it out there, regardless of if anyone sees it, just if nothing else, for your own satisfaction.
My mom's been preaching to me the importance of trying to get published for like the last 15 years, man.
Well, I mean, even if it's not like you can self-publish. There's so many like poets who died and no one ever saw their work. And then 100 years later, someone just finds it in an old trunk.
Right.
And next thing you know, they're getting taught in college and stuff. So
yeah, you're right. Maybe I will.
Never know. Anyway, I'll get
now
off
that I have a daughter
box.
and I need a lot of money, maybe I'll try to publish a book.
Yeah.
I would like to rewrite all of them though before I put them out.
I'm telling you, you decide to. I've got a great gal who's great at copywriting.
Really?
Like she went to school for it. She works for a local newspaper right now. She's like edited some of my stuff over the years.
Oh, nice. Well, I would love to get with her.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Like I said,
Me too, believe me. But anyway, that's another story.
I've got because that one about the realities changing and stuff, like with the guy and the girl drowning and all of that, man, shoot, that was like, I finished it, but that was like 1,400 pages, which, I mean, size 14 font, double spaced, but, still, it ended up being like over 1,000 pages.
Yeah, the story I got her to edit for me is called Fill Your Promos, Not Your Homos. And it's about a guy I worked with at the grocery store, and it's a fun little story.
Yeah, I would love to read it.
Yeah. But anyway, Sylvia goes on to say, mail call. One more question. What's your favorite day of the week? And you are only allowed to choose one day.
Friday. Well, no. Saturday.
I'm torn on this one, man. I'm torn on it. Like, obviously, I like Wednesdays. It's New Comic Book Day.
That's true.
And I mean, honestly, man, I like Mondays in a weird sort of way because, and I've said it on air before with the radio thing. It's like you get a reset button, whatever you didn't get done last week or failed to do, you got a whole nother chance to do it this go round,
right.
you know? Which, I mean, obviously Mondays suck and I hate getting up on Mondays, but at the same time, I am kind of like, man, I can, you know, here's another go.
I believe probably I'm still going to go with Fridays. Like I like Saturdays. I'm weird. Like I actually like to clean my house and cut the grass and all of that. So like Saturday mornings, man, the best thing was to wake up a little early and go out and cut the grass and come in and clean the house. And then like by lunchtime, everything's done. You sit back, your house is clean, the yard's looking fresh, and you're just like, man, I'm going to fire up the grill in a little while, have some beers, some whiskey, get some friends over. But honestly, probably Friday, because a lot of Saturdays I have stuff to do. So it's just like Friday I get to go home from work and I'll go down into the basement, like my little man cave, and like watch Netflix or, you know, as silly as it sounds, like watch a show while I like clean my guns or play a video game and just stay up all night. So
I wish we could.
Fridays.
Man, I wish we could cue a song like George Jones. It's finally Friday, or Working for the Weekend. I can't remember who does that song.
Friday.
Everybody's working
for the weekend.
Anyway,
we actually had a band serenade us with that song with the radio station because we were
I remember
MCing,
you told me about that.
And they brought us on stage and sang it to us because we were there on a Saturday working.
Yeah, and some corny lady was dancing in a really like ghastly manner.
It was really,
We won't name any names, but
good times.
Anyway, Dana B in the mix today from 3 days ago. Mail call. I need the address of the mother ucker who poisoned your dog and round-trip airfare from Philly to wherever you live. I'll save all the animals. Well,
true that.
If I had a time machine, I'd let you go back in time and save him, but that'd probably create a paradox. And anyway, we won't go down that path. She goes on to say, damn, guess I need a question now. What was your greatest I quit story? I was once bartending in a local strip club, and the owner was just your typical titty bar owner. He was a real prick. So I took my tip bucket and walked out the back door in the middle of a shift. Didn't even tell him I was leaving. I went to a different strip club. My girlfriend worked there, got a job there, and then she got me drunk. Good times. That sounds like a good time. I wonder if
your quitting story is better than
Dana,
mine.
did you keep the bucket? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Did you actually like take the bucket by the pail, walk out with it, and just straight up like, this is my bucket now?
My bucket, bitch.
Prick. I'm keeping the bucket. Yeah, I've never really.
What a polite quitter, though, if she like kept the tips, but then was like, I'm just returning your bucket.
Yeah, I quit it. The only job I've really quit was, the first time I was working at the supermarket, I quit in my teenage years. I had to get a testicular varicocele repaired. And I don't
even know what that is.
It's a swelling in the vessels that connect your testicle to your body. And I had to get that repaired. And technically, I just went on medical leave and never went back. And they discontinued my employment. So I guess technically I got fired. And then I worked at a fish house for a little while, and I quit that. I was just like, man, this lady's a real bee. And she was gone for the week. And I just told the guys kind of working under, like, I'm not coming back after this weekend. So I never went back, and that's it.
I worked at a body shop one time, and the guy that ran it was just so hard to work for, which is why, from what I hear, even still, he can't keep like the same employees.
Yeah, you told me about this guy.
And I just remember, like, when I first started, the first few weeks, everything I did was amazing and just yada, 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 and ran, and then as time goes on and he feels a little bit more comfortable just being a prick to you, that all changes because I guess there's some unhappiness in his life that he feels he can take out on his employees. But I won't have an etchnit, so basically it was like one day I had done something and it came out really good and he came out and just started fussing, but then he like wasn't going to make it be redone. I'm like, well, wait a minute, if it's so horrible, why aren't we going to redo it? You know what I mean? And then it was like basically like after lunch, I just walked in there and I was like, man, I appreciate the opportunity. This has been great. And walking out isn't typically something I've ever been taught to do at a job, but I'm out. Have a good life.
Okay.
It was the best feeling in the world.
Hey,
My
man.
car was actually in the shop, not the body shop, but like at the garage, like down the road getting fixed. So I remember I knew I was going to quit. So I texted my girlfriend at the time, was like, can you come pick me up? And she's like, you're off work early. And I was like, yeah, we'll talk about that. And then,
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just got to pull a Johnny paycheck and tell him to take this job and shove it.
Yep.
All right, next one, Corey Andros. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but anyway. Mail call. Justin, how do you like Days Gone By? Critics have been ripping it, but I love it. It's so addicting. Totally The Walking Dead meets Sons of Anarchy. LOL.
I'm with you, my friend Corey. I love it. I definitely can see some of the criticisms. It's glitchy as hell. Some of the cut scenes are weird and jumpy and don't really make sense. But at the end of the day, I have absolutely loved it. I rented it for like 5 days, and I took it back when we were having a baby. But I think I'm going to rent it tonight or tomorrow and play it. But no, I'm with you, man. It is great. I absolutely love it. I consider it to be kind of a combination between Red Dead Redemption 2, Far Cry with a little bit of Assassin's Creed thrown in. But you're right. It is awesome. I give it an easy 7 out of 10. I highly recommend it. At the end of the day, even though it is glitchy and a little bit rushed, it's a huge open world game, and it's a blast.
Well, man, I hope you got your pants on tight, because Dana B is back. She came back one day ago, and this is a doozy. She's getting into something we brought up I guess maybe it was the last mail call. I can't remember, but she's spitting some knowledge, man. I'm not even up on, but it's interesting, and we're going to dive in.
I think I know which comment you're talking about, and we're not going to dive in because I have to have time to research this.
I'm not trying to dive in, but it's definitely some...
we'll definitely address this question, but you got to give me some time to research.
This is the first I've seen it, man. This is wild. Okay. All right, Dana B from one day ago, and she used to be Dana the Doula, just for super fans out there. I want to do a conspiracy vaccine Agenda 21 podcast with you guys. Mm-hmm. First question. If vaccines are the only thing keeping us safe from certain pandemic, how do you explain...
They aren't the only thing keeping us safe, but continue.
How do you explain Japan? Japan has no MMR shot, and there are no massive outbreaks of disease there. It's because the rate of the communicable diseases greatly declined before the vaccine came out. According to the CDC, this was because of clean water, an understanding of personal hygiene, and germ theory advances in modern medicine, antibiotics, fever reducers, etc., and better nutrition, which reduces the number of deaths from these diseases to almost zero. Agenda 21 is the UN...
Is MMR, are we talking about measles? Is that what that is?
I do not know, man. I do not know.
That's why I said I got to have time to research before I comment. Because
I
don't like
the
to
first
spit
I'm reading
stuff
this,
and not know what I'm talking about.
I'm definitely intrigued. Agenda 21 is the United Nations World Depopulation Plan. Bill Gates is a big supporter of that. No one else. No one else he supports. I don't know what that sentence is. Massive vaccine trials in Africa, not approved in the U.S. yet, so this isn't about shots here. Because these vaccines haven't been proven safe yet, a lot of kids are dying. I guess she's talking about kids. So I guess she's saying that they're testing these vaccines on kids in Africa, and a lot of them are dying, so they're basically being used as guinea pigs down there. So when they try it in Western countries, kids won't be dying, I guess is what she's saying. Again, I'm not saying that. I think that's what she's getting at. But yeah, I'm not up on. Like I said, when we went in on the vaccine thing the other day, it's not something I've really researched, So I definitely like to dive into this stuff and maybe get Dana on the horn. She certainly seems knowledgeable on it.
Yeah, let her do it.
But not if I can if I'm going to touch on that at all. I've never been. I understand the importance of vaccines and the role they've played in history. If I was going to say anything, I think it's entirely possible that the powers that be, the government, whatever you want to call them, taint that the same way that, food's tainted, whatever's tainted, in an effort, if depopulation is a thing, to do that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're not giving this any. So you don't think the government would taint something that they give the population?
Absolutely.
So that's all I'm saying. I shouldn't, downplay vaccines in and of themselves. But I'm just saying, I think if there is a depopulation agenda, I could certainly see them tainting vaccines the same way, preservatives are put in food.
Oh, if there's a depopulation agenda,
that's what I'm
that'd
saying.
Be the easiest way to do it.
So if I can clarify, vaccines in and of themselves, not saying those aren't a good thing. But again, I haven't done the research that Dana B has done. Clearly, wow. Agenda 21. I'm certain. I've heard of that, but I've never really looked into it.
I hadn't either. That's why I was like, let me research before we talk about any of that.
Yeah. I'm not doing a deep dive, but very Dana B. We definitely need to need to pick your brain. That's interesting stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Leave us some more info. That's really, I find all that really interesting.
Yeah. Agenda 21 kind of sounds like anyway. Okay, Marcus Douglas, mail call. Hey guys, I love listening to your podcast. I've asked questions in the past, but I never hear them on the podcast. But it's okay.
No.
I hope you see this one.
We do see this one, and we're going to answer it. I promise you that was never on purpose.
Yeah, I want maybe leaving questions in other videos that we just haven't seen.
Maybe, yeah. The easiest way is to put them on the mail call video.
Yeah, and definitely hashtag. That definitely helps as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Marcus gave us a smiley face, so no hard feelings. All right, my question is, was there ever a point in your life where you didn't have any friends or anybody to hit up? I mean, literally no friends at all, just going to work and coming home. It's been like this since 2016, so I was wondering if there was a time like this in your life, and what did you do to get back to making friends? Keep in mind, I'm only 21, I live on my own, I have no car, and everywhere is far from each other. So at the same time, I don't feel motivated to go out and do things. Sorry for the long question. Love listening to you guys.
Well, you've got two friends right here.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll be friends with you.
I look up, and it's like a Transformer thing.
You know what today is, and it's my least favorite day of the year, so I am sorry if I sound off to all the listeners. I'm just always in a bad mood on this day every year.
Kind of like Wolverine. Sabretooth always tried to kill him on that day of the year.
Yeah.
But hopefully he tries to kill you.
But no, I just have to get comfortable. But no, we'll be your friends. And I can't speak for JP, but I've been fortunate my whole life, man. I would be lying if I tried to connect in a way by saying like I've never been, I've had a point where I didn't have any friends. I mean, I don't even want to go down to that rabbit hole, but I've definitely dealt with the feeling of being alone. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I've been fortunate my whole life. I've always been surrounded by great friends, and some of them are still around, and the ones that left were replaced by even better friends, and that I have now. And my family is always, we haven't always gotten along, but they've always been there if I needed them. So I can't relate in that regard, but I can completely relate to the feeling of being alone, man.
Yeah, I think sometimes we feel most alone when we're amongst a bunch of people. Sometimes.
No doubt.
But no, I've definitely been there, pal. Like between 6th and 7th grade, I went from a private Catholic school to just a public school out in the county because it was closer to home, yada, yada, yada. And I went from like the core group of kids I'd been with like my entire life, same school from preschool all the way up to 6th grade, and then jumped over to a public school. And I mean, I had kids I talked to, but as far as like the people you hung out with on weekends, like talking on the phone with and stuff, like that just kind of dissipated. The only, my pal Lucian, he was the only one who kind of stuck by me, a very complicated fellow. He would definitely relate to this stuff as well, but that's a debt I'll always owe him. He definitely stuck with me through that. And then there was another point in like my early 20s. I won't say I didn't have any friends, but I was kind of just drifting along aimlessly. I'd moved, with our mutual friend Jessie and her husband at the time, who was my best pal. I'd moved in with them, and like I said, it's not that I didn't have any friends, but I didn't really have much purpose or direction, and just kind of drifted around, and I definitely felt really alone at that point. But no, I've had the no friends thing. It sucks.
I could say some really nasty stuff about some kids I went to church with because it's so funny that that's supposed to be whatever, and probably the only time I've ever felt looked down on or treated differently was by church kids. But the fact of the matter is, again, I don't want to say too many nasty things about them because some of them are good people and we're friends now. But basically, it was so funny because, I grew up, had girlfriends, all that stuff, hung out with people, and some of them were a little bit older, some of them were a little bit younger. But then I started, paying attention in school, and I realized that's why they're being mean, because these are all, none of them have girlfriends. They're all just, I hate to be mean, but some of them were pricks. They're freaking losers. And I guess I'm not, and that's why when we go to church, they have some kind of disdain for me because I'm leaving church to go see my little girlfriend. They're going to sit in their mom's basement and imagine what it would be like to have a girlfriend, I guess. I don't know. But that church, at church, when I was younger, I definitely felt that. But And that sucked. But, man, I hate that you feel that way. I hate to ever feel like somebody feels alone. But, you've got us. You can always ask questions. I mean, I definitely think as much as it sucks, you mentioned not wanting to go out. But if you want friends, you're either going to have to get some kind of big online presence, be it on video games or forums or whatever, or you're going to have to, go out some. But, there's friends out there for everybody, brother. You just got to go find them.
Yeah. It sounds like they live in kind of an isolated place. I don't know, maybe in the Badlands of Oklahoma. Who knows? But
wherever that is, too, like I said, there's plenty of people that I don't even know you and I'd want to be your friend. So, I mean, there's plenty of people that would love to meet you, and I know you're sure you have a lot to offer them. Just find, maybe a bar's not your scene. I don't know what you're into, be it, baseball. Maybe start going to sports bars and watching games with like-minded people. If you're into D&D, find some Dungeons and Dragons groups, comics. Just, instead of going out to places that you don't like to meet, find your interest and go places and try to find people with common interests. Because, like I said, man, the world's full of friends.
It can be, but you've known me long enough. I'm a very kind of reclusive. I deal with the social anxiety, so I feel you, Marcus. We like you said, Justin's going to give his personal phone number out at the end of the podcast.
Did I say that? Was that what I said?
I thought that was implied.
I mean, you definitely can message on here, man, or find our Facebook, man. And if you having any issues, I'm more than happy to talk to you.
I was going to say lots of listeners snapped us and stuff before.
Yeah, and we'll give our social media info at the end. You can snap if you ever want to talk or whatever. We're here for you.
There you go. All right, moving on. Alex Jimenez, just 12 hours ago, mail call. I'm currently working on earning my AA in college, and I'm interested in a radio career. What advice can you guys give me?
Find another career.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to start. Yeah, man. I mean, you've actually got a radio career. I'm just now kind of getting my cutting my teeth. So
I mean, it bought me a house. It allows me to support myself, and so I can't really down the radio career. It's a really hard career to get into.
I was gonna say, man.
I enjoy what I do. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Honestly, I don't even know what I would do if I left radio. I guess I'd go back to being an electrician or working on computers. But yeah, no, I love what I do. And here in this town, it's getting kind of. But it's just a really hard career to get into. Like, I just would hate, because, and I say that from experience because, man, I cannot tell you how many resumes I have stacked in the back from people coming by. Hey, man, I just graduated from college. I've always wanted to do radio. And I'm thinking, my God, I want to hire you. You seem like an awesome person, but I can't. You know what I mean? Like, radio is one of those careers you kind of look for an opening and jump into it. Like, I lucked into my career. I just happened to have a friend that was in it and asked me if I wanted to do a little board opping, which was like how pretty much everybody gets into radio, is board opping. I feel like that's kind of like the rock star version. It's kind of our version of rock stars paying their dues and playing at small venues. Like, you just basically come in, sit down, you don't say anything on the radio, and you just operate the board while somebody's doing a live broadcast. But I did that, and then it went from there and there. So, I mean, I definitely would say if that's your dream and that's what you like, man, go for it. But be prepared to maybe move. Or, and I guess that's the way to look at it, too. We live in a small town. Nobody ever really leaves. So if you're willing to leave and travel, then by all means, go for it. You know what I'm saying? But it's a hard career to get into. And now we're in an age where everybody's pre-recording or there's no DJs at all. So, I mean, if you want to be an on-air personality, it's really hard to get in on that because most stations are just going for this all-music, no-talk format that for some reason they think people love. Like, we don't. That's the thing. Like, we can get on the internet and just talk for an hour, and we'll have a buku of strangers that enjoy hearing it. But then when we try to, you try to do that on most radio stations, you're told people don't want to hear talk; they only want music. And I'm like, I feel you, but some people do enjoy talk.
Yeah. I mean, that's dawned the age of podcasting, 'cause
Absolutely.
that's what people want to. A lot of people want to hear. But
I listen to talk radio every morning. Like, I like to start my morning off with talk. I'm more inclined to listen to music on the way home. On the way in, man, I like talk. I want get my brain moving.
But man, I didn't realize till I got into this how few people work in radio but are actually making a living from it. I mean, almost everybody has got like a primary job, and then radio is just their side gig.
Absolutely. A lot of your favorite personalities you'll hear on local stations are probably a plumber or work at the library, but they do that on the side.
Manage a grocery store. But, and man, you gave some great advice. You were telling me to your younger brother that wants to get into radio, find a bigger, kind of umbrella degree where you can get into a lot of different things.
Right, and then have that in your back pocket in case a radio opportunity ever presents itself. I told my brother, Alex, man, I told him, I was like, look, go to school for marketing. If he's creative, I was like, marketing is fun. It can be a hard degree to get, no doubt, but man, the payoff is so worth it. Everybody needs a marketing manager. Everybody. My favorite place on planet Earth, Ocean Lakes in South Carolina, has a marketing director. Yep. Hospitals need marketing directors. Cartoons need marketing directors. Everybody needs somebody to help them market their product or their service, and that's a fun thing to do. And the great thing is that can help you get into radio because we write ads and we have to market people's services out, but also maybe minor in communications. And that way you've got marketing, you can find you a good paying job, and then if a radio opportunity presents itself, bam. You got that other degree and you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's a fun career, but it's just hard to get into.
It's very hard. And, always remember, podcasting's always an option.
We would subscribe to you, I promise.
Yeah. So just to, kind of scratch that itch, you want to be heard,
That's what we did.
Yep. Anyway, last but not least, Phyllis is back in our ear. Mail call. Justin and JP, would you go on Naked and Afraid and try to survive in the wilderness completely naked with a stranger?
Yes.
No. No for me.
Yes for me. I am not ashamed of what's going on down there, and I'm just kidding. I'm not. But I like survival stuff. I'm not going to say I go out in the woods and eat raw animals and stuff, but I do a lot of survival stuff. I've always just found it to be really fun, man. I love building temporary shelters and knowing what. I would be willing to try it. I'm not going to promise I would make it all the way through, but I would definitely give it an effort.
Do they get a cash prize at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe if there's enough money involved, I'd do it. But
yeah, they get a pretty big cash prize if you stay, I think it's 12 weeks. I hadn't watched much of it because I never understood the naked part. I thought that was really stupid. I like survival shows aside from Survivor, which is crazy because we know 2 or 3 people that have been on Survivor. I was really good friends with one of them for a while. But yeah. I think the naked part's really stupid. I guess it's just to make it awkward when you meet someone and have to all that. But as far as a survival show, I would be down. I'd try it.
Yeah, like I said, it'd have to be a lot of money involved, and I would need a lot of training. And if somebody just came in here today and offered to sign us up, it'd be a no from me. So.
I'm going to see. I think that we have at least one other comment from longtime listener Caitlin Howard on another video.
Okay, yeah, I was scrolling around. I didn't see anything, but no. What's Caitlin got up?
Let's see. It was something too that really shocked me. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Caitlin Howard commented on our video yesterday and said, "Congratulations on the baby girl. Don't worry about those visitors. Soon they will stop coming and you'll be on your knees praying someone comes over just to hold the baby so you can literally do anything other than hold her. It's a wild ride, man. And this is the part that surprised me. And Caitlin, you're right. I don't mind the people coming over. I'm a very social person. I was more or less saying that JP would have a panic attack with that many people at his house.
Yeah, probably.
But I believe you 100%. I've told my girlfriend, you better be happy right now. We can get the dishes done and the laundry done because mom's upstairs holding the baby, or my buddy Joey's there. Bring it. I say, if you ever want to go a week and not have to buy any food, have a baby. Because, man, we've been fortunate enough to have some delicious dinners brought to us every night since last Thursday. But this is what surprised me. Caitlin, you look really young. And she says, I have a 15, 5, and 3-year-old. You have a 15-year-old, Caitlin? I thought I would have guessed early to mid-20s yourself, unless you had that baby super, super young.
Yeah.
Give us some details, man. You know we love you. And that's interesting. But she said, as much as they drive me crazy, I miss them the second I drop them off for school. Mail call. What's your craziest new dad fear now? When my middle son was born, I developed a phobia that I would accidentally crush his skull if I walked close to a door frame. I wouldn't go through a doorway without covering his head for months, and still sometimes catch myself doing that to my youngest. I think my biggest fear is dropping her. I hold her fine, but yesterday, for instance, I cut on the TV and I laid on the couch and she and I ended up taking an hour and a half nap, and I woke up and fortunately she was still on my chest, but I keep having this fear that like I'm going to get because she moves too to be a month early. I mean, she was not due until the end of May. To be a month early, that girl can already roll over, like completely roll herself over. She takes her legs if she's laying on your chest, and she'll spring herself off, and it's just insane. So my biggest fear is that I'm going to wake up to a thud and she's been throwing herself in the floor.
Yeah, man. Or maybe you just kind of like get a little tossy-turny and like roll over on your side or something.
Yeah. That, and then when she gets older, I think I'm going to be terrified of her choking because I think I got choked one time as a little kid, and so I think the thought of her getting choked on something is going to be a big fear of mine as we get into it.
Yep.
I'm trying to see, was there anything else? Thanks, too, for all the congratulations on other videos and stuff from people talking about the baby. Very much appreciate it. Let's see. I think that's about it. I'm trying to see what other videos. This last week or two has been kind of hectic. As you can probably tell from this podcast, I'm way off. But hopefully I'll be back on track. I think that's all the mail call questions. Let me go to our notifications and just see if there's any more mail calls that we didn't get to. Corey Andros asked on another video, have we checked out Strange But True Stories? I feel like I have. I'm not 100% sure. I'll look that up, but I'm pretty sure I like that channel. I'll have to look into that. I think that might be it. Also, project for you guys, even though I'm very embarrassed of it, I just would love to see if someone could find it. If you've made it this far in the video, we were talking, and I embarrassingly, about 4 or 5 years ago, I did like a narration channel on YouTube because I just have a deep voice, and I was like, that'd be cool. And a lot of what I did was scary stories to tell in the dark, which is that old book series from back when we were kids. And that channel had like no subscribers and got very few views. I think one of my highest videos might have like a couple thousand views. But if you can find that, I'll give you a cookie or something. You should see if you can find it. The only clues I'll give you is that I narrated, and it was all scary stories, and a lot of them were scary stories to tell in the dark. If you know that book series, that's where you start. But if you can find it, I would be very impressed. I found it the other day and listened. I sound terrible, but it was just something I just wanted to do for fun. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up.
I had fun. Did you have fun?
I always have fun with you, JP.
You look very comfortable.
Yeah, I am.
I'm trying to wonder. Like, so your feet are behind you. I guess just kind of need to stretch the old back some. Yeah.
My feet are in front of me.
They're in front of you. What? Yeah. You're straddling that? I don't know what's happening. We're going to get to the bottom of it. It's been a good week of podcasting, man. I feel like we've rounded a lot of bases, covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Had some laughs, had some tears.
Lots of tears.
I feel like we need a corny outro song.
Do we? Let me see. I can find one. Don't forget to follow us on social media, JP.
Over the rainbow.
Somewhere.
But yes, you can follow me on Periscope, JPSLIM. On my mama, shout it out. But no, just Periscope, JPSLIM.
He's going to have an Instagram here soon.
I do. Right now, J_Radsaw. You can hit me up on Instagram. Oh, yeah. Jasper Radsaw is my pen name, my pseudonym. I want to keep my my Instagram strictly for fan service and for just people I don't know in my day to day primarily. Right. So I'm not using my normal handle of JP or JPSLIM. Not using my Christian name. Simply Jasper Radsaw, J_Radsaw on Instagram. Mainly just showing off comics I've picked up and other stuff. I don't know.
Sweet. I can dig it. You can find me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope. Just I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase, no spaces, no apostrophes, and there are 2 L's in Lloyd. I'm Justin Lloyd, and that's Snapchat, Periscope, and Instagram. So we will see you next Monday as we cover the 5th episode of Game of Thrones. I don't think I'm ready for it, but
man,
I'm also very ready for it. So.
Yeah.
Quite the conundrum.
I've heard that, 3 spinoff series are in the works. That's what I've read.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah. Crazy.
I hate my birthday. My phone has been literally ringing and texting. I mean, it's appreciated. It's very appreciated, but I hate my birthday. Oh, my God. I hate my birthday. Man. I hate it. Gone. But yeah, well, man, this new seating arrangement's not working. I turned my chair around like somebody on Saved by the Bell, back in the 90s, how all the cool kids sat, and this chair's not made for that.
I just put together, man, how close your baby girl's birthday is to yours now. That's wild.
Yeah, that's one thing that'll make it special through the years.
Cool.
Like right now, I've hated my birthday for a long time. Right. So, but now with her in the picture, I think it'll be a little bit different. Like next year, we'll be celebrating a little bit before. So yeah, maybe that'll bring it back around. Man,
maybe just lump your birthdays into one massive party, which be a little weird, having like cake stands at a 1-year-old's birthday party. But
don't put it past me, brother.
I'm just saying, man. If anybody will do it, it'll be you.
That is true. Well, we'll wrap it up, and we will catch you next Monday. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.